If you like Strickland, 10-1, still not bad odds, Jeremy, are they?
No, it sure isn't. And you know, knowing that he's through the final 64 and he's going to be a high seed in the event.
You can see Earl doesn't have a clear path through to that 3. And I don't think he can get it off that left-hand side cushion to try and pocket the 3.
No, but can he squeeze the cue ball in between the 4-5 and stop the cue ball hitting the 3 and bank the 3 around table, hitting the side cushion? If that's on, that's definitely the shot. He must not be able to do that because he's going to try and hit it full. Oh, wow.
That'll work.
Sure will.
And a very knowledgeable crowd here applaud. That's something I've noticed here too all week.
Oh yeah, it's one of the top sports here in Taiwan. 9-ball is in pool, period. There's a pool room on every corner. Bet they've been looking for this event all year. They've been salivating at the mouth, waiting for all these top players from around the world to come in. And they start young around here. If you look in the crowd, most of the fans are you know, teenagers, 20 years old.
Not one of Okumura's better efforts there. Hit that way too thin. Not only did he lose the cue ball, but there was no way he intended to put that 3 over the pocket. Another look at it. He's intending a thicker contact on that 3. Having said that, cue ball flicked the 7. And that's what took it into the side pocket.
Earl's got a little out of line here. It shouldn't be a problem, but wanted to be a little more straight on this 4 on the side, but he'll just roll up. He's gone to the end rail.
I think this is a practice session for him, the way that he's cueing.
Yeah, he likes to let his stroke out.
Lost the cue ball.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys are trying that cut break, and I played a few matches on this table, and I don't think that's a necessary break anymore like it used to be. I think that if you hit them head on, you control the cue ball so much better, and you're still going to make the wing ball 90% of the time and get the same results on where the 1's traveling. I think that cut break, you lose that cue ball to the bottom rail, you're going to end up suffering in the long run.
He's going to go with this off the side cushion. He almost looks like just missing that 3. He might well make the 1 ball here.
Yeah, there's not really much of a push out other than rolling the cue ball to another kick shot. So I think he's going to be aggressive here. You know, all these top players, they don't want to let their opponent to the table.
Well, that's certainly what he's looking at. He's just measuring it up now. Looks like he's holding his fingers the width of the ball. This is a new system for sighting.
Yeah, this is the Jimmy Reed system. You know, great player Jimmy Reed, U.S. Open champion, world champion. He has a system where you take the width between the rail and the ball, and you measure that out from the rail to the outside of the table, and you shoot to that point. And actually, quite a few players use that system,
including world champions.
That's right.
And if he keeps knocking those in, there's going to be a few more players using that system with Jimmy Reed. Watch it. Could have struck that any better.
There was nothing but net.
Slightly hampered cueing where that white is finished over the 9. But that was a great effort on the 1 from Okumura, and he wants to carry it through to the finish line.
It's not too often you get to beat a great player like Earl Strickland, so you never know. You know, this tournament, these guys could meet again later in the event, so that could weigh on both of their minds who wins this match.
No, we talked about that in the Reyes-Tony Drago match. You never know who you're going to run into in the knockout stages, so it's nice to set the tone. No problems here. The 4, 5, 7 to the 8. If Okumura doesn't go 4-3 in front, he's going to have no one to blame but himself.
That's right. I'm not going to say anything because every time I open my mouth, they miss, and I want the fans at home to see the best pool they can.
Straighter than he would have liked, but it's not going to pose any problems. He'll just have to play the 8 to the bottom left instead.
Yeah, he just has to stay above the 8 so he has a natural angle to come up for the 9. So who do you like to win the event, Jim? Are there anybody that you've really seen that that you might have to sink a few dollars on?
Spoken like a man that knows I've sunk a few dollars. Fong Peng Chao seems to have handled the pressure very well here, Jeremy. It's not always easy playing in front of your hometown crowd.
Yeah, I think they got the mojo going for Mr. Chao.
Whoa.
Rack 8, Earl Strickland to break, trailing by 4 racks to 3.
Few people will forget the scene in Cardiff only a couple years ago when this man defeated Bustamante in the final and went right up to the middle of the table, jumped up, cue above his head, and celebrated in a way that none of us will forget. Now he's left a long straight 3 for Okumura with no positional values whatsoever to the 4. Missed the push out. So Okumura, if he doesn't fancy this long 3, he can give it back to Earl.
Well, it's kind of hard to give it back. Reason being is that on the TV table here, I don't expect either player to miss this ball, and he's going to just shoot. Either one of them, I would suspect, would shoot this ball in and follow down for the bank on the 4. Be hard for me to give this shot back to Earl Strickland. I know that. Fooled you, fooled me too.
The body language is almost telling Okumura to turn it back to Strickland. I liked him before he got up. I don't like him making the ball now.
We made them both.
Foul shot, ball in hand.
Just something about him getting up, Jeremy. I saw nothing positive there.
Yeah, well, we always say in the States, think long, think wrong. So.
And only the generosity of that corner pocket accepted the 3.
Right.
There's been a number of occasions Earl Strickland has come to the table with a few balls remaining with cue ball in hand in this match.
Yeah, and he only shot at the wrong ball once, so that's good.
He's got that going for him.
Yeah, and I'm a good friend with Earl, so I'm going to have to kid him a little bit later about that. I don't want him to think I'm needling him or anything.
Well, feel free to do that, Jeremy, if he wins this match. If he doesn't, you might want to kid him with a helmet on.
Oh, Earl, he's harmless.
This 9. To mean we're going to be treated to just 1 rack to decide this match.
Well, that was close.
Don't walk around the table too quickly, or that cue ball may fall into that side pocket. Very close to going in off there for Okumura. As it is, he's got a shot at the 1.
I don't know. Can he shoot the 1 in and run into the 2? Is that on, Jim?
I think he's looking at it, isn't he?
I don't know. It might be a bit thin, unless he elevates the cue and draws it in there. That makes the shot quite a bit more difficult.
Or even playing it with a bit more speed.
You might be able to make it deflect into the 2. But then you're losing the 2 ball a little bit more. The 2 has a subject to go anywhere, you know, somewhere you can't predict.
Added pressure on this one. Bragging rights at stake.
Yeah, and gaining some confidence for the elimination rounds.
Yeah, he played it at speed. Now he needs to be just a little lucky. Needs that cue ball to run. And if he goes at this one, he's going to be attacking it off the side cushion. That was the danger, Jeremy.
Yeah, not being able to predict what's going to happen with the cue ball and the 2. And actually hitting that hard would have been unfortunate, but he could have actually come off the 2 and scratched in the lower left-hand corner. There were a lot of things you couldn't predict, but I think he'll do his little measurement system here and go to the rail first and pocket this 2 ball.
Jimmy Reed would be proud. This one looks like it's a little further from the corner pocket, so considerably more difficult.
Yeah, and it's not really a natural path to get to the pink 4. I think if he makes this, his cue ball will probably run into the brown 7. That's the problem with this shot.
No time for mistakes right now.
No, it's now or never, Jim.
Your next mistake will almost surely be your last. Well, he forgot to give it the measurement.
Ball in hand.
He
Forgot
sure
to
did.
go over and give it the old Jimmy Reed thumb 4-finger measurement.
Yeah, and Okumura, I think he was worried about running to the 7 if he hits the ball thicker. He wanted to cut it a little thinner and let the cue ball run between the 7-9.
One good positional shot here from the 2 to the pink 4. Earl just taking a little bit more care because that is the shot from which a win could be matured.
Yeah, he's just going to draw underneath the 8 ball. He's caught a piece of the 8. Well, that's just not keeping your concentration for Earl. He shouldn't be this far away from the pink 4. He hit that well.
If the game is about self-belief, I think Strickland would never be beat.
And Johnny Archer and I were talking about this earlier. When Earl is of sound mind, as we'd say, he's almost impossible to beat. I mean, when he's concentrating on the game instead of all the other variables around the game, he's so tough. The stroke of his gets longer and longer.
So does the amount of time the opponent spends in his chair. Just willing that cue ball off that cushion. The long 8, top left.
With speed. I knew that was coming.
So the undefeated record remains intact here in Taipei for 2004.